I want to begin with something that may stop you in your treks because pediatricians, child psychologists, and developmental researchers have been saying this quietly for years. And now, they're saying it out loud. Many of today's children are living in a constant state of low-grade stress, and the most caring, attentive parents often don't see it. This isn't debated. The research is clear, and pediatricians are alarmed, not because parents don't love their children, but because stress in children no longer looks the way we expect. It doesn't always show up as tears. It doesn't always look like fear or sadness, and it rarely looks like what we were warned about when we were growing up. In fact, some of the behaviors we now praise, independence, quiet focus, emotional control, even maturity, are sometimes the very signals that a child's nervous system is under strain. And here's the part that feels unsettling to say. Many well-meaning parents are unknowingly reinforcing stress patterns every single day because the signs feel normal, harmless, or even positive. One of the signs I'll share later, the one most parents dismiss entirely, is considered by developmental experts to be the most dangerous over time. Not dramatic, not obvious, but deeply disruptive to how a child's brain wires itself for resilience, emotional regulation, and trust. If you're listening to this as a parent or caregiver, I want you to hear me clearly. This isn't about blame. This isn't about fear. This is about protection through awareness. Because once you see these signs for what they really are, you can respond in ways that don't add pressure, but quietly restore safety. Before we go any further, I need to say something that matters deeply. If you didn't know these signs were stress signals, it's because no one told you. Not your pediatrician, not parenting books from past generations, not the platforms, product, or advice ecosystems surrounding modern parents. Much of what parents are working with today is outdated, incomplete, or filtered through convenience-based marketing. You were taught to look for obvious distress. You were told that stressed children act out. You were assured that if your child seems fine, they probably are. And that advice no longer matures what we know about child development. Modern stress is subtle. It's quiet. It hides behind routines, achievements, and adaptation. So if you're feeling a flicker of guilt right now, let me reframe that for you. Guilt is not the signal here. Awareness is. You're watching this because you care, because you want to protect your child, not control them, because you're open to learning even when the truth feels uncomfortable. That already places you in a category of parents who change outcomes. The goal isn't to remove all stress. That's impossible and unnecessary. The goal is to recognize when a child's nervous system is carrying too much for too long without relief. Now let's talk about how that stress actually shows up. Sign number 1. Frequent physical complaints with no clear cause. Many parents notice this one, but don't connect it to stress. Your child says their stomach hurts, or they complain of headaches, or they feel tired, even after a full night's sleep. Take them to the doctor. Tests come back normal. You're told it's probably nothing. And on the surface it looks like nothing. But beneath the surface, something important is happening. A child's body often speaks before their mind can. When stress is ongoing, the nervous system stays activated, flooding the body with stress hormones in small but persistent doses. Over time, this changes digestion, sleep quality, muscle tension, and immune function. Children don't say, "I'm overwhelmed." They say, "My stomach hurts." And when those signals are dismissed, especially repeatedly, the child's body learns something subtle but powerful. My discomfort doesn't matter. I should push through. Long term, this can wire patterns of emotional suppression, anxiety disorders, and chronic stress responses that follow children into adolescence and adulthood. Sign number 2. Being too good, too quiet, or excessively compliant. This one surprises many parents. Your child listens. They don't argue. They don't make waves. Teachers praise them. Relatives admire their maturity. And it feels like success. But developmental experts warn that excessive compliance in children can be a stress adaptation, not a personality trait. When children sense that harmony, approval, or stability depends on their behavior, their nervous system may shift into a freeze or please response. They stop expressing needs. They monitor adults closely. They internalize pressure instead of releasing it. This doesn't mean every calm child is stressed, but when a child never protests, never disagrees, never expresses frustration, it's worth paying attention. Because long term, these children are at higher risk for anxiety, burnout, people-pleasing behaviors, and difficulty identifying their own needs. Stress doesn't always look like chaos. Sometimes it looks like silence. Now we move beneath behavior M to the brain itself. This is where stress does its quietest work. Sin number A. Difficulty with emotional recovery. Many parents think emotional regulation means a child doesn't get upset, but neurologically, regulation is about recovery, no avoidance. A stressed child may get upset and take a very long time to calm down or appear fine quickly, but emotionally shut down or swing between emotional extremes. What parents often think is happening: they're sensitive, they're dramatic, they just need to toughen up. What's actually happening? This child's stress response system is overworked. Imagine a smoke alarm that goes off too easily or it doesn't shut off at all. That's what chronic stress does to a developing brain. The systems responsible for calming the body, attention, impulse control, emotional processing, don't mature properly when stress is constant and without support. These children grow into teens and adults who feel emotionally flooded or emotionally numb. Sign number 4. Trouble with focus that looks like disinterest or laziness. Stress doesn't always make children hyper. Sometimes it makes them foggy. A stressed brain prioritizes survival over learning. It scans for threat instead of absorbing information. So your child may struggle to focus, forget instructions, seem unmotivated, zone out. And here's the critical misunderstanding. Parents often try to add pressure to fix this: more structure, more reminders, more consequences. But what the brain actually needs is safety. Stress narrows attention. Safety expands it. When children feel emotionally secure, their brains reallocate energy back to curiosity, memory, and creativity. Without that safety, learning becomes exhausting. Now, I want to slow down, because this next sign is the one most parents overlook, and the one experts find most concerning. Sign number 5. Emotional self-soothing through distraction or detachment. This often looks like independence. Your child distracts themselves. Instead of asking for help, they retreat into activities, screens, or imagination. They stop seeking comfort when upset. Many parents think they're learning to cope. They don't need me as much anymore. But here's the truth. When children self-soothe prematurely, it's often because co-regulation wasn't consistently available. Children are not born knowing how to calm themselves. They learn it through repeated experiences of being soothed by someone else. When that process is interrupted by busyness, distraction, or emotional unavailability, the child adapts. They detach. In the short term, it looks like resilience. In the long term, it's associated with emotional distancing, difficulty forming close relationships, and suppressed stress responses that resurface later. The safer alternative is simple but powerful. When your child seeks connection, pause, be present, even briefly. Those moments literally wire the brain for regulation. This final sign is one every exhausted parent will recognize. Sign number 6. Reliance on external regulation tools as the default: screens, schedules, rewards, constant stimulation. These tools aren't evil, they're survival strategies, and parenting is hard. But when these become the primary way children calm, focus, or cope, something is lost. Children need practice tolerating boredom, feeling emotions, navigating discomfort with support, not escape. When convenience replaces connection too often, children miss the chance to build internal resilience. The alternative is harder but biologically supportive. Small moments of shared presence, predictable routines with emotional warmth, letting feelings move through instead of shutting them down. None of this happened by accident. Modern childhood is shaped by speed, productivity, and performance. Many products, platforms, and parenting trends are historically brand new, less than a generation old, and they're designed for engagement, not development. Algorithms reward compliance, systems reward quiet, Culture rewards achievement over attachment, but children thrive for thousands of years without these pressures. They developed resilience through relationship, not optimization. The problem isn't parents, it's a culture that asks children to adapt faster than their nervous systems can handle. Here's what I want you to remember. Stress is not the enemy. Disconnection is. Your child doesn't need perfect parenting. They need available parenting. Real development happens in ordinary moments, car rides, bedtime pauses, shared silence. So, here's one simple question to carry with you. Does my child feel emotionally safe bringing their full self to me? That question alone changes everything. If one of these signs surprised you, share it in the comments. And if you know another parent who's trying their best but feels unsure, send this to them, because presence, patience, and trust will always matter more than any two, and you are already more powerful than you think.